welcome to another edition of Long Beach Treasures. I'm your host, Harvey Keller. Today we're going to be talking with the true Long Beach treasure, Ed Killingsworth, noted architect who has designed some of the most beautiful buildings around the world. Mr. Killingsworth, thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, thank you, Harvey.
And I noticed that these pictures up here, these are your works of art.
Yes.
Could you maybe just tell us what they are?
Well, the one at the left here, top, that is Elkhorn at Sun Valley, Idaho. That's a ski resort, which we finished a number of years ago. This is down below is the Cambridge building, which has won all kinds of awards around the world. Matter of fact, it won first prize in competition with 50 countries.
Now that's on Bixby Road, right?
Bixby Road, just off of Long Beach Boulevard. It's really a very important building. As a matter of fact, it kind of shook up the whole world when it won first prize in competition with 50 countries. This is our beautiful Kahala Hilton Hotel, which we built 45 years ago. And it sold about 5 years ago to the Mandarin Hotels. And the Mandarin Hotels then asked us to go in. And since it was 40 years old, it was a little tired and dusty and so forth. And so anyway, they asked us to redo it. And so we spent $70 million renovating the Kahala Hilton. We saved the chandeliers.
I can't believe something that large must weigh a ton.
You know, they are very, matter of fact, the new owners, they wanted to get rid of them, and we had a real battle, and I won. And they're there, still there, and the teak floors are still there. And then below that is the Kapalua Bay Hotel and Kapalua Bay in Maui, Hawaii. It is one of our most beautiful hotels. The lobby is staggering. It's 55 feet high, and really quite nice. This hotel here is the Halakalani. Matter of fact, that's in Waikiki in Honolulu. It's on 5 acres, kind of right in the heart of what we call the jungle there, and it's really beautiful hotel. Last year, it was selected by Gourmet Magazine as the #1 hotel in the world. It was the number 1 hotel. So we felt very pleased with that, and it's a beautiful hotel. If you ever get to Honolulu, make sure you see that one. Above that is one of the case study houses. That's the case study triad in La Jolla. The case study houses are very famous, and as a matter of fact, we built them 40 years ago for Arts and Architecture magazine. And matter of fact, quite interesting, next Sunday, matter of fact, they are having a book signing. Matter of fact, they put out a new book which was published in Germany. It's in 3 languages on the case study houses, all the photographs. And the book is a real goodie because it costs $150. And I have a copy of it here for you to see. But this is one of the houses in it, which was called the Case Study Triad.
Why is it called Case Study?
Well, it was the Arts and Architecture magazine. There was quite a story. Before World War II, matter of fact, it was almost impossible to build a modern house because the insurance agencies and the people who loaned banks, they wouldn't loan money on a modern house, quote, modern, which had glass or it happened to have a flat roof or something, or it had open plan. So John Intenza, who had Arts and Architecture magazine, decided he's going to change all of that. And so he just selected a group of architects to have them build these houses. And then after they got them built, then matter of fact, each one of the houses is open for 6 weeks for the architectural profession to come and see. But this was, matter of fact, this was the case study triad. It happened to be 3 houses. Matter of fact, it was going to be 80 houses originally, but these were the 3 prototype houses. And matter of fact, that's House B up there on the top, which is was quite a beautiful house. And it has it's known worldwide as one of the triad. And matter of fact, what this case study book is all on these houses. Matter of fact, there were 24 of them built, and fortunately, I designed 6 of them. So
They're beautiful.
this is another one of the case study houses here. This is House B. Matter of fact, yeah, that's the same house up there, but now you're looking at from House B down to House A. That photograph is from House A up to House B, but here you're looking from House B down to House A. And way off in the distance there is Long Beach. This is La Jolla on the hills.
I notice in most of these, or in a lot of these pictures, you have water, reflecting pools.
Yes.
Is that a signature of yours?
Yes. Matter of fact, we enjoy water and the reflections. It's like our office building here. When we first built the office building, of course, we put in this pool. Actually, the water is only 1.5 inches deep, but the bottom of the pool is painted black, so you don't know how deep it is. And it makes a beautiful reflection.
Was that for safety reasons?
Yes, because I didn't want to come in on Monday morning and find a child drowned in the pool. And so it's only 1.5 inches deep. So the women coming in over the stepping stones, they all are hanging onto the rail, think they're going to fall in the water. And I show them it's 1.5 inches deep, and they feel very foolish. This is the Montalani Bay Hotel and Resort, and that's on the big island of Hawaii. And that's about 5 miles from the Mauna Kea Rockefeller Institution. But this is quite a beautiful hotel, and it has quite a nice reputation. Matter of fact, they have 4 rooms there that rent at $4,500 a night.
Wow.
Matter of fact, they're just beautiful, and rightly so. This is probably the best project which we have designed in the office, and we did that 45 years ago. It was down in the Naples area of Long Beach, and it's called the Opdahl House because Dick Opdahl was the owner. He was a teacher here in town, and he and his wife, and it's a beautiful house. It's on a 30 by 80 foot lot on Geneva Walk in Naples.
That's small, isn't it?
Yes, it's very small, tiny. But this shows what you can do on a tiny piece of property. And it's been published. It's won every award, I think, in the world. And it's been published in probably every magazine, architecture magazine in the world. But it has kind of been destroyed now because the owner who has it now went in and chopped it all up and did all strange things to it. But I was very unhappy. I should have bought it, but I didn't. So, and architects should buy all their buildings. If you had that much money, I'd be fine. Matter of fact, the building down below, just below this, that is a Balinese theater. And matter of fact, and that is in Jakarta, Indonesia. That's at our Jakarta Hilton Hotel, which we built in '75. It has about 1,200 rooms now. And this was out in matter of fact, it was an old polluted river, and we made it into a lake. And then we brought in the Balinese to do these buildings. We did the master plan, but I told them I wanted them to do the buildings because I didn't want to look like a Disneyland, and I wanted them to have it authentic. So I brought in 300 Balinese, and they carved what you see there, they carved, and it took them a year to carve that.
Looking at that, you would think that came from the time of antiquity.
No, it was 1 year. Matter of fact, it's 300. Matter of fact, most of them are from 11 to 20 years old. These incredible carvers. I have some slides of them, which are quite interesting.
You have some models in the back. Could we go take a peek at some of those?
Let's take a look at this.
Oh.
This is one of the most famous of our houses. This is another case study house. This is case study number 25. And it has, matter of fact, that's down on Rivo Alto Canal. And matter of fact, that's on a 40 by 90 foot lot. And the olive tree is put there so that as you look across the canal, you don't see the kind of dumpy old houses across the way.
Have I seen this statue somewhere today here?
Yes, it's in the office. Matter of fact, this house we built for Ed Frank of Frank Brothers Furniture. And matter of fact, he wanted a case study house, and so we built this for him on this lot. And along the way, for years, well, when he moved out of the house, he took that Rosenthal piece of sculpture with him, and so I was always trying to buy it from him. So I finally, years later, bought it from him, and it is now in our reception room of our office out front. We can take a shot of that as we
Sure.
go out. And but this house is very, very famous. That's a 17-foot door, and matter of fact, and how do you get a 17-foot door? That was quite a trick, and so matter of fact, everyone said I was crazy, and so anyway, at that point, so I told the contractors, I looked at it, I said, what I see is it's a very simple space, and actually an airplane wing would do it. So anyway, we went to Northrop Aircraft, and they built the door. And 30 years later, matter of fact, when it all deteriorated from the salt air and so forth, they built us another door. And but it's the reason it's that high because it's important to the space. When that door opens up, the space all opens with it. And
Now, having built all these buildings around the world and in Long Beach, do you have a favorite? Or is that an unfair question? Are each of these like children? They're all your favorites?
oh, well, you can't very well pick one. This is one of my favorites, of course, and because it's had so much publicity. And matter of fact, recently the publicity has hit this magazine. This is a new magazine from Japan, and matter of fact, it was Masterpieces 1945 to 1970, and you can see my name here.
Oh, yes.
And and here it is, 1961. Matter of fact, this is the Ed Frank case study number 25. This is the house. It's had a lot of publicity. Well, here it is again over here. This is the case study house book that I was speaking of.
From Germany?
Yes, it's in 3 languages. Matter of fact, but here, this is the house on Riverwalk. It's the same house here. Matter of fact, when they published these, matter of fact, they had to have a drawing of what the house was going to be, and this is my drawing of what the house was going to be, and this is the way it ended up. And so, anyway, it's quite a. Matter of fact, here's the sculpture again you were asking
Oh,
about.
yes.
And but it's, matter of fact, as I said, next Sunday they're having the book signing of this book, and people are coming in from around the world for this book signing.
And where will that be?
At MoCA, Museum of Contemporary
Oh, in
Art.
Long Beach.
No, MoCA up in L.A. On Bunker Hill. And so it's going to be quite a deal. This is another one of my drawings here. But and here's as you come in that tall front door, this is what you see. And you come in this door here, this is what you see. It's really a very beautiful house. And fortunately, most of our houses, after we've left them, several years later, they go into disrepair. But in this particular case, this house was in disrepair, but a couple happened to be walking by one night, and they saw it, and they fell madly in love with it, and so they bought it, and they have spent somewhere between $300,000 and $400,000, and repairing and putting a new roof on and doing all the things which it needed through the years, and it looks now as good as it did the day it was started. This is the announcement of the book signing. Matter of fact, next Sunday. That's one of my drawings up here. But it's really quite interesting. But this book, matter of fact, weighs about 20 pounds.
It is heavy, isn't it?
Heavy and costly. $150 for that book. But anyway, we've been very fortunate. So anyway, now down here, matter of fact, this is a model of a hotel we were going to build in Mexico City. We never got it built because the owner got interested in Brazil, and he put all his money into Brazil instead of Mexico. And so, but anyway, we got a beautiful model and a lot of nice memories out of it. It was an 800-room hotel on the Reforma in Mexico City. And
You had mentioned in the case study house the tall door.
yes.
I just happened to notice here, tall doors. Is
Yes.
this another signature piece?
Yes, yes. Matter of fact, it's one of the things which I'm known for is the tall doors, and the also for the glass and the flow of open planning and so forth and so on. So consequently, but the tall doors and the high ceilings are important.
Tell me some of the things that you've designed here in the city of Long Beach.
The City Hall Library, if you know that,
I do.
and matter of fact, and the Terrace Theater, if you know the Terrace Theater.
I go there all the time.
Yeah, okay, and the Performing Arts Center. Matter of fact, those were two of my projects I was involved with. We had several other architects involved, but I was involved with the design of those two buildings mainly. Then we have been the master planning architects of Cal State at Long Beach for 40 years.
My alma mater.
Yeah, and it's, as you probably know now, it's a sea of pink blooms. Matter of fact, with all of the peach trees blooming out there. Matter of fact, one of the things I wanted to do to make it very unusual is I planted 3,000 Helen Borchers, B-O-R-C-H-E-R-S, flowering peach trees. And then through the years, we've added to those. Now we have 4,200 of them out there on the campus.
Wow.
And so what I wanted to do was make this so in the spring, the kids would always remember the campus as pink. And it would be something very unusual. And also, no other city nor the government, no one paid out this is all paid for by private citizens. These are all donations, $12 a tree and so forth and so on. It was an inspiration I got because we didn't have money to do anything really very startling. And so I talked to Hank Ritter, as you probably remember Hank Ritter, who was the head of the
Press
newspaper.
Telegram?
Right. And Carl McIntosh, who was the president of the university at that time, and I talked them into this, and I told them, and if you probably remember Mac Epley, the writer.
Yes.
Well, Mac Epley, matter of fact, did a story on the cover of his magazine about this, not the magazine, the paper, on the, matter of fact, on the flowering peach trees. And then I got Llewellyn Bixby to kind of front the thing, because my name wouldn't mean anything. So anyway, Bix turned up with the idea that we'd plant these trees. So everybody got very enthusiastic, and so we raised the money to plant the trees, just $20,000, and it was, and that was about 25 years ago.
I was down there just last week on my way to the rancho, and I saw all those beautiful pink trees in bloom.
You know, they're wonderful. As a matter of fact, of course,
Do they bear fruit?
No. Well, sometimes a few of them will, and that gets to be kind of a difficult thing. But anyway, we did several things out there on the campus to make it important, which wouldn't cost us any money. And one of them was the International Sculpture Symposium. All the sculpture you see out on campus there. Matter of fact, we brought in 10 sculptors from around the world. And matter of fact, they worked on the campus for 6 weeks. And matter of fact, and created the sculpture. We supplied all the materials. And it was really kind of like Rome at the time of the, matter of fact, all the wonderful things happening there. But anyway, but we brought in these sculptors from around the world to do this.
Is the pyramid yours?
It was mine, the fact that I'm the master planner and I'm involved with all the buildings on campus. But actually, the architect was Hugh and Don Gibbs, matter of fact, in town here. But then I worked with them. Matter of fact, the color is mine, matter of fact, and all. But anyway, and then we shoved it. Matter of fact, when the neighbors were unhappy with it going in, we just shoved it around to have it going to the right place and so forth. But but everything you see out there on the campus
Has your signature on
mine. As a matter of fact, yes. And matter of fact, we have that wonderful president now, Matt Maxon, who really has just been just wonderful. So.
Let's go look at some of your scale models.
Sure. All right, fine.
Now, I know that you've closed down your architectural firm. What's going to happen to this building?
Well, what we're taking is half the building will be made into an exhibit area of all of our architectural work and models and photographs and renderings and so forth. We have a lot of beautiful things, and so consequently we're going to make this into an exhibit area with all the explanation and so forth, and we'll have videotapes and so forth for our work, and it should be very interesting. Then it'll be open to the public, and so they can come and see all this work, which is really, otherwise it'd be put away in a closet somewhere.
I noticed there are a couple of models here of your...
Yes, this is the, matter of fact, this one is the Religious Center at University of Southern California, and it's the, it was 5 Protestant denominations, and matter of fact, and it's really quite a beautiful building, and it looks better than the model, curious enough, and matter of fact, then...
Can we give another plug to another Long Beach treasure? Because if I'm not mistaken, that's your wife, Laura,
yes,
in the picture.
That's right.
Another Long Beach treasure.
Yes, she is a treasure. She's done 51 musical shows now, matter of fact, and her last one was 42nd Street. And matter of fact, that was last year out at the Carpenter Center, but she is singing better than she ever has in her life.
Great.
Which is wonderful. But this, that picture you see there, it was at one of the case study houses when we were furnishing them. And she just hates that picture because she didn't like what she had on. But anyway, but it's famous around the world. Everybody knows that picture around the world. This, again, is the Princess Reforma in Mexico City. And matter of fact, then down here, this is the University of California at Riverside, the Student Union Lounge at Student Union. It's interesting. The kids didn't want a big Barney place. They wanted something very intimate. So we start at 12 feet here and go up to 53 feet, a swooping roof, and it's really quite nice. And then it has a copper roof on it, which is aged very nicely.
We have just a couple of minutes left. Could we run in real quickly and look at some of the artistic work that was done by the children of Bali, I believe?
Yeah. Let's see. Now, where should we go?
There's one in your office.
Oh yes. Yeah, matter of fact, there's a panel of 4, which I think.
All right. Let's go look at them. What's the big picture on the wall here?
That is the Kahala Hilton at the top. Matter of fact, and there are planting beds there, and there's bougainvillea which spills clear down the face of the building. It's really quite beautiful. That's in Honolulu, of course, and off in the distance you can see Cocoa Head and Cocoa Head Crater, a couple of volcanoes. But it's...
and these are the paintings, some of the paintings by, are these Balinese children?
Yes. They call me a ballet nut because I love ballet so much. And we built the Ballet Hilton there, and I spent 20 years putting that together. And while I was there, I got to know these children who had this young artist school of painting. And so I picked up these paintings while I was there, and these were painted by a boy about 15 years old. And then I have others around which are painted by even down to 10 years old. And matter of fact, they are really quite remarkable.
What medium did he use?
Oh, yeah,
oil?
No, it's not oil. I think it's, I really don't know,
Okay.
as a matter of fact. But matter of fact, there was a Dutch artist, actually, of course, as you probably know, that the ballet was, before World War II, was Dutch. And matter of fact, and so consequently has quite a Dutch influence. And so after the war, a Dutch painter came into ballet, and he saw these wonderful, talented kids, and he thought, oh, gee, it's too bad that they don't have the right colors and so forth. They were painting in the typical Balinese browns and blacks and umbers. And so anyway, he asked some of the chiefs of the village, what could he give them a new palette of colors, but not let them see his paintings. And they said yes, and so he gave them all these new colors, and he told them didn't take them home and paint. And this is what they turned up with, these incredible paintings with all this new color.
That's remarkable for a 15-year-old boy, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Well, matter of fact, of course, he's much older than that now, but they are, well, it's like the carvings, stone carvings you saw. Matter of fact, they do, all these wonderful carvings, and they're just incredibly talented people and nice. Matter of fact, on this other wall over here.
Is this one of your designs over here?
Yes, that is, matter of fact, that's in Australia. And matter of fact, and the one just below that is in Japan. That's Tomamu. It's a spa up on the ski resort. And matter of fact, and it's won a lot of awards. And the other alongside of it, that's another shot of the same thing. But
I notice another painting on this wall. It's a completely different color. This is all blue. This is bright red.
Yeah. Matter of fact, they're actually, it's too bad they're not lighted a little better, because that one, I'm very fond of that blue one, but it has a lot of character to it. But it's it's a wonderful talent they have, and whenever you have a chance to go somewhere around the world, go to Bali.
Is Bali one of your favorite places in the whole world?
Yes, yeah, Bali and Bangkok and so forth and so on. We have done work in Seoul, Korea, and matter of fact, Kuching, Borneo, Jakarta, Indonesia, Bali, of course, and and Japan. Matter of fact, we did the Tokyo Bay Hilton in Japan, and which is at Disneyland, and so we've been in most of them, and we built in Guam. We built the Okura Hotel in Guam, which is really quite beautiful. But we've been very fortunate. As a matter of fact, then in the United States, we have built the Phoenician Hotel over in Phoenix. A matter of fact, which is it was named as the #1 hotel in the Northern Hemisphere by 20,000 travel agents. Matter of fact, that's on the side of Camelback Mountain. And it was, matter of fact, we built it for this man, which everyone probably know, is Charles Keating. And we worked with him for 6 years putting that hotel together. It's a beautiful hotel, and fortunately we got out of it before.
I'm sorry we only have a half an hour, because I could talk to you for, well, a long, long time. Mr. Killingsworth, thank you so much for joining me today, because you certainly are a Long Beach treasure.
Well, thank you. Well, it's nice of you to come in.
Be sure and come back next month as we take another walk through history and uncover more Long Beach treasures.